Welcome to What the Flick. I'm Matt, that's Christy.
Hi.
We are going to review Sherlock Gnomes.
We're so good to you guys.
Right,
You should
we're so
thank
excited.
us. You know what, this is a movie that you probably aren't gonna see, even if you have kids, as I do, you probably are not gonna go see the sequel to Gnomeo and Juliet, the long-awaited, much anticipated sequel to 2011's Gnomeo and Juliet. I have no idea why anyone thought we needed more of this, but we have more of this, and we have more gnome puns, Sherlock Gnomes, because there is like a Sherlock Holmes character, but he's a gnome and he has to get to the bottom of why all of the yard gnomes are being stolen throughout London to the perky sounds of the Elton John songs that are awkwardly wedged in here. Take a look or don't.
I'm Sherlock Gnomes, sworn protector of garden gnomes.
You mean, except for the one you literally just broke?
Broken? Who's broken? Oh my God!
This March,
All ahead full, Watson!
those gnomes are in terrible danger.
From the director of Kung Fu Panda.
We can't let anyone hear this, but they're going to smash us all tomorrow night.
Smashed? This guy said we're all going to be smashed tomorrow.
Yikes.
Look, as far as sequels nobody asked for, this isn't even near the bottom 10. Like, it's harmless, right? It's harmless. I think of this in the same way that I think about reruns of the Beverly Hillbillies. It's harmless, like fine. There's worse things that are on TV. There's worse movies out in theaters. It's fine. Look, if your kids are dying to see this, take them. I didn't think this is as egregious as Gnomeo and Juliet. Like, it does dial back the songs.
But the whole thing with the Elton John songs, like all of a sudden they're running around London and they'll play like Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting,
Yeah,
or they play the bitches back, but they don't use the lyrics,
Right.
Because you can't say bitch.
Right.
So I just don't understand why this exists. People who are in it is an amazing voice cast. Again, it's like James McAvoy, Emily Blunt, Michael Caine, Maggie Smith. Name a great British actor, and they do a voice in this, and I just don't understand why any
Sir
of them.
John Gielgud.
He's dead. So he didn't do this, but lots of
Alec
other
Guinness.
famous people did. Laurence Olivier, dead. So they are not in this. They got to escape before Sherlock Gnomes.
Ralph Richardson.
So I'm actually baffled that this is arriving in theaters, or it did arrive. We're playing catch up. This arrived like last week in theaters. Yeah, it's just, and I like puns. Who doesn't like bad puns? And
I'm a dad. I'm all about bad puns these days.
One joke movie, and that one joke is lame from the start.
I thought it was. I didn't hate this. I didn't mind sitting through it. Maybe my standards are too low, but I've seen worse kids movies. This doesn't have anything wildly to recommend it, but it looks fine. The action moves along enough. I didn't find it tedious to sit through. Like, I was a little bit like, well, okay, let's see what's going on. There's a little bit of a mystery to it. There's some, kind of action sequences that are kind of fun to watch. I didn't hate this, and I know that that's damning with faint praise, but listen, there's another movie that we're gonna talk about in a bit that I actually really, really, really disliked. This one, again, it's harmless.
Like it's so harmless that you can't hate it.
Right, like
saying.
I guess I don't mind the mediocrity here.
I need to look up who is the voice. Okay, Jamie Demetriou is the voice of the evil pie.
Right, Moriarty.
Yes.
Right.
The evil pie.
The
Moriarty,
evil,
which makes
like,
sense in the Sherlock
Well, so
Holmes
it's like an evil Pillsbury Doughboy kind of character.
He's kind of like Stewie.
Right, and who did the voice of Sherlock? It was
That would be
Johnny
Johnny
Depp.
Depp.
Right.
Somebody else. Well, actually, he does need the money. Right, he owes his managers like millions of dollars apparently for his $30,000 a year wine habit. So I take it back. There are people involved here who did need this paycheck. I apologize, but everybody else does not. Emily Blunt does not.
No,
I'm confused about people's choices sometimes. Chiwetel Ejiofor, friend of the show. I'm so sorry we didn't like this movie, but we really didn't. He's Watson.
Right, he is Watson. There's, and it's interesting. The movie almost turns the Holmes-Watson relationship, almost puts it in a romantic context. It's like I felt like it almost does. Like it gets real close to that.
Like in like a bromance kind of way.
Yeah,
like they need each other in ways they don't want to admit.
Yeah.
Is that
kinda,
it? Okay. That is an interesting idea that I don't know the movie ever intended or
maybe.
even ever.
I don't know. There's a
Explorers.
scene towards the end. I'm like, wow, are Sherlock and Watson going to hold hands?
Are they
here?
going to
Like,
kiss? That's exciting. And it's not that daring in the slightest.
Right.
Matt's making this sound way more deep and subtextual than it
I
actually
just didn't
is.
find it offensively bad. Like, there's movies that I think are a waste of effort. If your kids want to see something and you take them to every other, you've taken them to whatever other Pixar movie are out and they've burned through a bunch of other kids' movies and this is the thing they're asking to see, sure, it's fine.
I mean, yeah, and we're gonna talk about Ready Player One today as well. And Ready Player One really is not for the entire family, but yeah, you're right. If you have really, that's a whole other conversation we're gonna have, and you can watch that too at some point. But I feel like if you have really little kids, this is super harmless, and there's action, but they'd be fine with it. It's very playful, goofy action. So yeah, if you have very tiny children, if it's spring break where you live and you have tiny children and you need to put them someplace for a little while.
I think that this is...
This is a place to put them.
I don't think this is any worse than Peter Rabbit.
Peter Rabbit is so much better. Leaps and bounds. That's not even a pun. That was not a rabbit pun just now. No, because at least like with that, there's the interesting texture of the creatures.
Okay.
And this is just like various shades of ceramic being chipped.
Okay.
That's it. I would like a little more texture in my talking gnomes.
Okay, so what's your number?
A 2.
Oh, that's harsh.
It's a waste of my time.
You would
it
throw
made
these
me
gnomes
angry.
right to the curb and smash them.
Shatter them to pieces. It made me angry.
I wouldn't necessarily, I give it a 5.
All right.
It's fine.
Our number's
It's
a 3.5.
fine. Number's a 3.5.
17%.
Yeah, should you decide to go see it, we encourage you to visit adamtickets.com and enter the code WTF5 for $5 off your next movie. And by entering the code, you're helping support us.
That's
so,
good.
You'll feel good. And maybe that offsets the terror of seeing this movie.
Bye. The terror. Bye.